Welcome back to another episode of the Arc Switch Survival Guide. Today we are going to teach you all about tree sap and how to get tree sap on Arc. Now, tree sap is one of the most important ingredients in lots of recipes and kibbles, but we are going to teach you how to make an outpost to harvest all the tree sap you will ever need. We'll teach you how to make sap taps and how to attach them to a redwood tree, and we'll teach you the traditional way to use a wooden tree platform to build a base that can harvest all of the tree sap you could possibly need throughout your Arc adventures. But I am also going to teach you a really cool trick where we can get all of the tree sap we need without using any cementing paste and save like 600 cementing paste with a very easy to build base that will get you all of the tree sap you need without ever having to leave your base. And if you watch this video till the end, I'll give you a little bonus where I'll show you how to kill any dinosaurs in the Redwood Forest from a Tapejara without ever putting yourself in harm's way. So be sure to watch this whole episode, it will be very helpful. Now this video will be packed with information, but if you're in a hurry, there are links in the description so you can jump straight to whatever topic you're interested in. Now, if you watched the last episode, this is a guide and Let's Play series, and in the last episode we took a crazy dangerous journey through the swamps to get to the Redwood Forest, which is also crazy dangerous, but we've been living on this floating fortress, so we just sailed the whole thing down the river and cut our way through all the dinos and trees to get to this point. But at this point, as they say on Monty Python, and that castle sunk into the swamp. Yeah, so we are stuck. So I'm just going to have to launch my expedition from here. Now at level 36, you can actually make a sap tap, and it requires quite a lot of metal and some cementing paste. It's a pretty resource-intensive item, but we've got just enough metal if we include the scrap metal we've smelted from some of the robot dinosaurs that we killed. So on this version of Arc, we actually have tech dinos, and if you kill them, you get scrap metal, which can be smelted down in the forge and used in place of other metal ingots. Now, I'm going to put that in there. That should give us just over 100 metal that we need for that sap tap. And I will open up structures and then go down to miscellaneous, and there is our sap tap for a whole bunch of resources. So we're going to combine all of that stuff to actually make this sap tap, and that's what we're going to place into a redwood tree, and that will actually collect the redwood sap that we need. Now there's one kicker to it. We have to place it about 12 stories high in one of those redwood trees. It is not something you can just stick into the bottom. Not that you would want to, because it's crazy dangerous in the Redwood Forest. Now, I don't normally spawn in any items, but I did go ahead and spawn in that wooden tree platform because I'm only using it to show it to you, and then I'm going to demolish it. So we're not going to keep that in this guide. So I am going to head out from this swamp, but it looks like my Tapejara is overweight because, yeah, that's why. Look at all that meat. That's insane. That's all the stuff we've had to kill out here just to survive. So that'll kind of give you an idea of what last episode was like. Check that out if you haven't watched it. So, we are heading out from this spot. We're stuck in the swamp, and I'm really hoping that if we leave it there for long enough, the game will glitch itself back out, and we will no longer have our raft stuck where it is in the swamp, because it's just sitting in the water, but somehow stuck on the land. I don't get it, but yeah, hopefully we can get out. So, we were just about to the end of the swamp when we got stuck, but up here we have the Redwood Forests, and you may remember if you've been watching a lot of this guide series that I always tell you to stay away from the Redwood Forests, and you'll see a little bit of why that is pretty soon. So I am going to just stay on the very edge of the redwoods and pick out one of the closest redwood trees to actually make this sap tap, because there are things called thylacoleos, which are kind of like a tiger that climbs up the redwood trees, and you can actually spot them halfway up the trees. But if you get too close to them, they will jump out of the air and pounce you off your mount and kill you and your pteranodon from the air. So I am checking every tree nearby, looking up and down just to make sure there's nothing sticking out from the trunk, because that could mean imminent death. I also took my least favorite Tapejara on this expedition for that very purpose because he may not make it back alive. Now, this is going to be a pretty good spot because it's on the southeastern side of the redwoods. I can easily find this corner. Now, it's good to pick out a redwood tree that's easy to spot because unless your base is really conspicuous, then you're going to be really hard to actually find the tree you've got your Sap Tap on. So this is a great spot. It's on the top of a cliff, so we shouldn't have anything dangerous showing up from below. And I'm looking around. I've got a good bit of distance between these other redwood trees, and I am not seeing anything dangerous stuck to the trunks. So we should be in pretty good shape right about here. Now, I've got my Sap Tap in my hotbar, and Tapejaras are amazing for doing this because they can hover in place, and there we go. There are 2 heights that you can place Sap Taps on a redwood tree. Each tree can place them, and there's either a lower level, which is about 12 stories high, or there's a crazy high level, which is really high up there, and usually there's 4 directions you can place those. Yeah, there's the other snap point way up here. Now, normally I would put a wooden tree platform up high, and from there you can actually place 4 Sap Taps and access all 4 of them from your base up top. But I'm going to teach you a much easier and less resource-intensive way to do this too. So it looks like we've got some company down there on the ground, and I really don't want to ever land in the Redwood Forest. So I'll put the Sap Tap facing out from the redwoods so that I don't even have to actually get into the forest itself. I want to stay as far out from the forest as possible during this whole process. So I snapped that into the tree. It's just like placing any foundation. It's just got specific snap points. And now I'm pulling out the wooden tree platform, and you can see it will snap to the base of the tree and also those 2 snap points. So there's the higher and the lower snap point. You can technically put 2 on the same tree, build walls all the way around them, and then the other platform works as the ceiling. Kind of a cool way to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and snap this down here, and as you can see, it places perfectly to where I've got the Sap Taps just sticking out the top there. So if I hop out over here, I can actually build a base on this platform, and when you build on a wooden tree platform or a metal tree platform that's just a sturdier version of that, then it works just like building foundations on the ground. They behave exactly the same, only it's perfectly level, which is really nice. Now, these little redwood trees that I was just hacking at are actually something people get confused with. They're not giant redwoods, and you cannot use the Sap Tap on them, but they are the best resource to get wood in the entire game. Now, I'm going to go ahead and demolish this wood platform and pretend we never built that because it is so resource intensive. It requires like 600 cementing paste and just thousands of wood, lots of materials, and for me, it's just not worth it at this point in the game to make such an elaborate tree platform. So, I am going to show you a really great trick that will allow you to make this whole thing with just a handful of stone walls, ceilings, and foundations. So this will be a much, much easier thing to do. Now, I'm first of all going to try to make sure the ground is clear because the redwoods are really dangerous, and I will also show you how to actually use the Sap Tap itself pretty soon once we get this set up. Now, I thought I saw something back here. I thought I saw a thylacoleo on the ground. Now, they're not nearly as dangerous on the ground, but they're still dangerous, and I definitely want to stay away from these guys. Okay, thank goodness. That is a honey badger. Honey badger don't care. We don't care about honey badgers either. That is a purlovia, which is basically a honey badger. They stay on the ground, and they will stun you, knock you off your mount, and they're vicious as anything, just like these terror birds that just ran underneath me. Yikes. So that's why I always perch on top of boulders. Some dinos will just run right under you and fall right off the cliff. So yeah, definitely tons of dangerous stuff, even just within view in the background here on the ground, and all that stuff will just kick your butt. Oh, there's another terror bird. That's fun. All right. Let me show you how to deal with terror birds. We're just going to tick him off and then hover right over the edge of the cliff. And he should be jumping off any minute now. Hey, buddy, did you forget I was here? There we go. Whoa, he is mad. Yikes. Those things are vicious. Okay, so he's not going to get us from down there. Now, I'm going to see if there's anything else down here that's dangerous, because we're actually going to put some foundations down at the base of the tree, and I've got some of that intense music, but I think that's just that bird still mad down there. Alright, so if you are playing on an official server, you may not be able to get this foundation as close as I can, but for me, I'm going to get this foundation as close to the base of this tree as I possibly can, and I'm going to just make sure that I am directly below that sap tap, and I'm just barely off. I'm going to scooch a little bit closer here. That should probably be just about right. Now, depending on your server's settings, you may or may not have clipping enabled, which means if your foundation is touching another structure like this tree, you may not be able to slide it into the tree trunk a little bit like I did. If that's the case, just build it as close as you can get it, and then we'll just build up all of the walls and the little hut on top, and then we'll just extend the ceiling further out to where it can actually reach that sap tap. So you should still be in good shape as long as you can get it as close as possible to that sap tap from the ground. Now, I'm starting out with a tall stone wall because I'm actually able to make those with a new S Plus update, but if you don't have that, just use regular stone walls. Stone walls are a little bit stronger than stone door frames, so I prefer to just build up the walls for the first few stories, and then I will switch to using stone door frames for the higher up stuff where dinosaurs won't be able to reach those from the ground. And door frames will give you just as much height as a normal wall, but they cost less resources to make. So once I've used up a few of these stone walls here, I'm going to switch over to stone door frames, and I keep forgetting I've got all of these on my actual Tapejara instead. There we go. And we're going to keep extending these up until it's about 12-ish stories high. It needs to be all the way up to where we can reach the sap tap. Now, oh, there's a scorpion down there. That's cool. This is so much easier to build with a Tapejara. I love building with Tapejaras like this. You can technically do this with a Pteranodon or any flyer. What in the world was that? Oh, a lot of crazy stuff in the background. So you can do this with just about any flyer, but you can also do it from the ground. I do not recommend coming into the redwoods from the ground, but you could technically build a wall, attach a ladder to that wall, climb the ladder, build another wall, another ladder, and just keep climbing all the way up until you're up in the trees. So that technically works. Alright, I think that's going to be just about perfect. I could have built that one foundation below, but I'm going to try to get this to actually be inside my house, which is great because you never know when a Thylacoleo will be on the trunk of a redwood, so even this high up in the air, you may not necessarily be safe. So I am just attaching these stone ceilings out from that wall, and you can technically build with a pillar too. I just like the walls a little bit better in this instance. So there we go. I'm trying to land on this, which is tough even with a Tapejara. There we go. It's much easier to place ceilings when you're actually landed. And I'm going to make a nice little box around this. Once again, we're making this as utilitarian as possible, just very simple structures, but that's going to be as simple as we can make that and have just enough space to land and be able to actually access that sap tap. And as you can see here, that has been filling up with sap this whole time, and it already hit to where it had 20 sap in that sap tap. Now, once you get 20 sap, it stops filling up anymore until you actually pull that sap out of the sap tap. So I'll be right back with some more materials now that I have a landing platform, and I'll get some of the walls, ceilings, and furnishings that I need for the rest of this base. Even with a good Tapejara, I couldn't quite carry enough weight for everything that I needed. So now that we've got this platform way up in the tree and the sap tap is actually sticking out of it, I'm going to build some walls and ceilings to make a little 2x2 hut way up in the tree. And if I do this right, I'm never even going to have to step outside of the hut while I'm collecting sap, which is pretty nice. So let's see here. Okay, I brought a ladder so I can make a second floor, and let me grab some walls, and we're just going to make a perimeter of walls around this platform that I'm on. So we're basically just building the base around the Sap Tap so that the Sap Tap is sticking into the base itself. And that should work out pretty well. Also, check out that lime green Parasaur. I kind of want to tame that guy, but I don't know what level he is. When I tame a Parasaur, it's going to be a really high level. Also, look at that Diplodocus back there. He's just really weird looking. Man, looks like a giant snake, doesn't it? There, now you can see what he actually looks like. Alright, so we've got all but that last wall finished, and I'm going to put some ceilings down here too. Okay, gotta be real careful with those, because if you're moving, they can easily snap to the wrong spot. Whoa there, buddy. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, there we go. Now we're actually landed on top of the roof, which is what I wanted to do in the first place. So that is a cool looking Dimorphodon down there too. I want one of those pretty soon. Okay, so now we've got 3 ceilings in place, and I'm going to go ahead and make a hatch frame for the other ceiling because I want to be able to land on the roof and then climb down inside the base from there. So the roof is going to double as a landing platform because I do need some space to land. It's a little bit sticky to actually land on a Pteranodon or, Tapejara and then jump out without falling to my death, because if I slip from here, I am pretty much toast. So let's see here. I'm going to put a ladder going down, and I always tell you guys to put the hatch frame on first, and the reason for that is because you never know what direction the hatch frame door is actually going to open. So I should have done that first, but I forgot while I was building this. There we go. Okay. Finally got that ladder to place. You'll notice I'm stuck in third-person camera. There's a weird little glitch where if my Tapejara actually sticks to the side of something like it just did, I can no longer do first-person until I relog, which is weird, but what can you do? So now I'm actually going to put the door on, which I always do before I place the ladder. And let's see if we lucked out here. Good, okay, we lucked out. If the hinge ends up on the same spot as your ladder, you can't use the ladder, so always put the hatch frame door on first before you stick your ladder down. So now I can hop down here and actually access the Sap Tap, which is still producing sap. That's great. So that is pretty nice, and I just need to close in that last little spot, and I'll have to be really careful as I'm climbing out of that ladder, because if I just keep moving forward, I will fall right over the edge and die. So I'm going to use these double doors, which is a new item with the Structures Plus update, the Ark Homestead update we got recently, and I really like these because it gives you a lot of space, and that way I can make sure I don't accidentally block the Sap Tap somehow. So let's see if I can see well enough to get this in. And if I can move just enough to get that door frame, you know what? I'm just going to relog. This is a little too difficult when I'm stuck in third person. Okay, that is so much better. I have relogged, and now I am back to where I can actually see. That's such an annoying glitch, getting stuck in third person. So I'm just dropping these double doors here, and that's going to allow me to make sure that nothing is obstructing that Sap Tap. I probably could have just put a solid wall there, and as long as I can get in and out through that hatchway, I am totally fine. So I need to put a storage bin in this outpost, and I'll explain that a little bit more very soon. But I'm just going to put this in the corner where it's out of the way, and that'll be really helpful because I'm going to store sap in that storage bin. And now I need a bed so that I can teleport out here anytime that I want to. So we're going to place that in the opposite corner, and I'm actually going to rename this bed and label it as a Sap Tap Outpost. And that's going to allow me to teleport here anytime I want to, and it will be clearly labeled on the map. Now, I'll explain real quick how this Sap Tap works. Let me extend this out a little bit, and then I'll show you how this whole base works all together. So I want this landing pad to be a little bit bigger, so I want to extend the roof just a bit, and that'll make it much easier to actually have room to land the Tapejara. And let me just go ahead and use a hatch frame. I didn't actually end up using as many as I expected. Okay, so this is a little bit too far from the foundation, and let me show you how that works real quick. We're going to extend our foundations out just a little bit so we can make this go a little further. So the foundation at the very base of this tree is what's actually holding up everything, and if I extend this foundation one more further out, there we go, making sure it's snapped properly, then I'm actually going to be able to extend the ceiling a little bit further. Now, if you have an issue where you don't have your whole platform close enough to reach the Sap Tap, you can actually extend your ceilings further out, and every time you add a foundation, it will allow you to extend your ceilings further from that foundation. So it's a little bit weird being like, 10 stories up in the air, but it still functions just like any other normal foundation. So I'm going to add that hatch frame there, and later on, if we decide we ever actually want to go down on the ground in the redwoods, then I can make a ladder going down from that hatch frame, and that can access all the way down to the ground. But for now, we're just going to leave it so we have no way of actually getting to the ground, which is totally fine because we only need this little box. So there is the whole outpost right there, and it's way up in the air. It's almost like it's floating, and it's just on one ceiling. So kind of cool. It's like a little hovering platform, but we were able to save thousands of wood and hundreds of cementing paste by doing it this way. So as weird as that is, it's a lot more cost effective, especially for cementing paste. So what I'm going to be able to do is, oh, this guy's blocking the door. That's why I made this a little bigger, because it's just kind of awkward the way it is. So that should hopefully be enough space. Okay, perfect. So what I can do is that Sap Tap is going to keep producing tree sap, but once it has 20 in its inventory, which happens reasonably fast, it stops producing sap. But if I teleport out here every now and then, I can move all of the sap into the storage bin, and then at some point when I'm in the neighborhood, after I've got hundreds of sap in that storage bin, because it never expires or spoils, then I can just fly over here, pick up hundreds of tree sap, and just head on out. So that's going to give me all the tree sap I need for the rest of the game. And I saw a saber tooth out here, and I could use some fur, so I can make some fur armor, because I will be exploring into colder regions pretty soon. So I'm going to try to kill that guy, and I'll just show you a cool little trick that you can use in the redwoods if you have a Tapejara. But first things first, I've got to look really carefully at all these trees and make sure there is nothing that's going to kill me up here, because there are these thylacoleos which will actually sit on top of the trees, and if you get too close to one, it'll pounce you right out of the air and kill you and your flyer. So got to be real careful of that. Now it is really hard to see a saber tooth in this area, but I think I can see, yeah, there he is. Okay, so if you back up and stick your tail right up against a redwood tree with a Tapejara, you can actually land on the tree with your head facing downwards. Now, normally if you go up to a tree and land on it, you will be facing up and you can't really see anything very well to shoot at it. But if you do it tail first, you'll stick to the tree facing downwards, and you can get a really clear shot at whatever you're shooting at. And as long as you're high enough in the air, it can't do anything to hurt you, and you can just kill off anything in the redwoods with a Tapejara. Also, I forgot, it turns out saber-tooths do not drop pelt at all. Whoops. I figured since they were furry, but no. So I will also show you on my way back to my base, which is currently trapped in the swamp, I found a cool little ruin that actually has an explorer note in it. So if you want to get a little experience buff and you're stuck out here, I'll show you that too. And I hope you learned a lot of great techniques for getting tree sap in Ark, which we will be using very soon to make sweet vegetable cakes and really good kibbles. I hope this episode was helpful. If it was, please be sure to like, comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to this channel and make sure to ring that bell for notifications, because we release new Ark videos all the time and there are so many more helpful things that we have to teach you. And there's the ruin and explorer note right there. So I hope that helps too, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching this video from the Ark Survival Guide. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can bring you more great guides like this one. Ark is an amazing game, but there is so much to learn before you can really enjoy it. We are dedicated to bringing you high-quality guides, tutorials, and Let's Play videos that are fun, helpful, clean, and suitable for the entire family. There's a tutorial in this series for everything we have done so far in this video. Check out these playlists for more episodes from this series and other guides to help you enjoy your journey on Ark.